Okay, so there's a question about how to model a wall like this. Now it could be modeled with custom openings, it could be modeled with basic shapes in the objects, it could be modeled with any number of things. I think given that in the example here we actually see that there are sort of variations in the height and potentially the width of this thing, giving it maximum flexibility. I think that modeling it with a custom curtain wall might be the easiest way. So here I just have a basic slab that kind of maybe mimics that shape and size that we're looking for there. But I'm going to go ahead and add in, 1 second here, I'm going to add in a morph element as well to kind of force a bit of an extra gap. So bear with me for 1 second here. Put one here and here, basically just so that as it, actually let's put it on the left side. So as these start to array with each other, basically this is going to be, it'll force it so that they don't heal together and we get that line. So I just have a 16th inch gap there. Let's double check this in 3D here, and we'll put these right there. Those shouldn't show up, those should just blend into the next block. So what I'm going to do now is select that stuff in plan view. We model it basically as if the curtain wall is laying flat, similar to a custom door, custom window. We'll go to File, Libraries and Objects, Save Selection As, and we'll save it as a curtain wall panel. And I'm just going to call this 12 by 12 with 16th inch space, CW block. Go ahead and save that. You get a warning here, a notice here saying that this will be available in the settings of the curtain wall dialog box. Now if we drop in just any curtain wall, I'm not even going to worry about what the settings are here. If you're not familiar with the curtain wall tool, it might not be very intuitive to work with when you're starting out. But we can see here if we start at the left panel, we could set the height or the size of this curtain wall. We could set the thickness, the angle, it could be sloping, the center line of that curtain wall. We have all the sort of geometry settings of the curtain wall, the sort of what stories it shows on, the projection settings, etc. Now when we go to the scheme settings, this is where we're going to basically boil it down to just these two schemes. We're going to say that it repeats every 12 inches. And we're going to say that the edges, or sorry, rather the frames, because the curtain wall is designed to have frames, so we're going to say that both frames on the top and the side are mullion frames. We don't worry too much about what the panel or the frames are. We just know that this whole sort of unit, this designed unit, is repeating every 12 inches. Now if we go to our frame settings, we go to our boundary frame, and we'll say that the boundary frame is invisible. That ensures that these sort of outer frames aren't going to show up. And then the mullion frame, we're going to make those invisible as well. Now we do have to have a frame in there. We don't want to, under the scheme settings, we don't want to eliminate those boundaries. We want to make sure that that has a frame. If you turn that to none, merged panels, it's just going to stretch panels and stuff. So we do need a boundary frame. We just go to the frame settings and say that that boundary frame type is invisible. We could say that this has a 16th inch gap, sort of spacing that out. Center line of the mullion frame intersection priority doesn't come into play here. Now we go to the panels. The distinct panel, that's what we're looking at here. The main panel, you notice that it's not highlighted. If you select in the interactive dialog here, that's that distinct panel. I modeled that custom panel to be 4 inches. This is going to, setting that is going to mean that in plan view, this looks correct. Where it says curtain wall panel type for the distinct panels, we are going to establish that as being a custom panel, which we could see here. I did a quick test before, but this is the one with the 16th inch space. Direction, panel thickness, etc. All of that is established there. We don't have any junctions, we don't need those, and we don't have any accessories, we don't need those. So now, if we say OK, looks like maybe you need to troubleshoot it in plan view a little bit, but you can see here that we get that curtain wall in 3D at least, and we can stretch that out. Notice that it does sort of distort and stretch that panel. There are ways that we can get around that under, I believe it's scheme settings. We could say partial panel, deleted panel, distinct panel, main panel. We know that we have the distinct panel. We could say that this is the distribution method, so starts with, ends with, start from, ends with. Let's go ahead and zero that out. So you can adjust and play around with sort of how it stretches vertically and horizontally, but generally speaking, you're just going to make it the size it needs to be. So if it were, we know they're 12-inch panels, so if it's 10 feet, we should have even panels. And it makes it really easy to basically draw this in and stretch it and push and pull and make it fit. Looks like I've got another panel there that I might need to, or sorry, a frame that I might need to turn off as well for that. And that's just a matter of coming into all these frame types that it's got preloaded and saying that these are all going to be set to invisible. Corner frames and boundary frames and all of that. We just don't need to show any of those frames. So that's the curtain wall panel. If we troubleshoot why it's showing up overly simplified, I know I've troubleshot this before. It might be under representation, 2D detail, maybe full detail. No, it doesn't like that either. Just change all of the views to projected. Well, I'll follow up with a floor plan symbol issue. I know that we started out showing the floor plan, so it ought to be able to show that as the actual projection of that. But that's my suggestion on how I would proceed to model a wall or a feature like this.